Look at this. All these are bank repossessions. As far as your eyes can see.
Dale!
Y'all see I got the Repo Man following me. Let's see how far he can chase me.
So we're getting to that time of the year where car repossessions are at its peak, along with them being at the highest levels in general in the past 15 years since the '08 financial crisis, which I don't have to tell you is definitely not a good sign, but I thought it would be interesting to take a look at what's happening right now. The types of vehicles being repoed, the types of lenders, the interest rates, the prices, everything that goes into it. We also have some comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just take a look at some of these repo lots.
Look at this. All these are bank repossessions. As far as your eyes can see, all of these are a manifestation of bad financial decisions, over leveraging credit and budget, and unfortunately it ends up in a lot like this where it's going to be sold at auction, cycled back into the car market at a fraction of the cost. 2025 Toyota Camry repo, all Suburbans, Audis, Toyotas, Ram 3500s, Jeeps, a bunch of luxury cars. 2024 Kia Telluride with only 16,000 miles repoed. Dealer charged $3,000 for a thorough inspection and reconditioning fee and $1,000 for interior protection, which is an additional $4,000 on an already inflated MSRP of $47,380. On a car like this, I guarantee you out the door is right around $60,000. If you had decent credit, you had probably a 13 to 15% interest loan, a car like this would be easily over $1,000. And don't even forget your car insurance.
Imagine paying over sticker and a 15% interest rate for a Kia. Like he said, over $1,000 a month. So no wonder why you see videos like this with just a sea of vehicles that are all repoed. Some of the comments, repoed to be resold and repoed again. If you saw my buy here, pay here video that I made a few months ago on this channel, a good amount of those vehicles' purposes are specifically for that. The dealerships know that the customers are barely going to make the payments, maybe a couple months. They'll repo the car and resell it again, over and over and over. Some of the Carfaxes had double-digit owners that were all repossessions. Temporary tags and already repoed. Saw a Facebook post that said I have 350 credit score. What kind of car could I get? And someone replied, a bicycle. Well, we are going to see a little bit later people having some really rough credit scores with repossessions in their history, and they still end up going to a dealership. But we have a comment from one of you guys. There's a custodian in the hospital that I work at. He makes $15 an hour and lives in New Jersey and rents an apartment for $1,400 a month. He financed the Dodge Charger Scat Pack for $80,000 for 80 months and $900. His insurance is $200 a month. If he doesn't work 30 hours of overtime weekly, he cannot make ends meet monthly. And he legitimately got mad at him when I called him stupid for buying that car. Not joking, he was genuinely mad at me. Basically just working yourself to a bone all for a single vehicle. It honestly just sounds crazy to me.
So I want you to check this line behind me right here. A majority of these vehicles that are behind me are actually repossessed vehicles. And we're seeing more right now during this time of year than we usually see, even with the record rates of repossessions, the record rates of auto loan delinquencies that we're experiencing right now. They have even jumped over the last little time period. And I'll tell you why, because we are actually in the peak right now of repo season. Yes, there is a repo season. What happens? Well, people go with their tax checks, their money from the government, and well, it's their money. The government gets to hold it, and then they get their money back, their refund, around the same time of year, into February, beginning of March. They go and they drop it on a down payment for a car. They drive it for about a month, and then they stop making payments on it. And that's what happens. A lot of cars come and get repossessed right at the beginning of summer because people just stop making payments on their new car that they thought they can actually afford when they could not.
So we also touched on this a little bit when I talked about the tax refund season. People taking all the money that is rightfully theirs, the government just held on to it and ended up giving it back, but they would blow it on a down payment on a luxury car or go to Disney, vacations, and then they're right back to square one, paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by. And I guess this is almost a yearly event. Right around the summertime, you start seeing a lot more of those repos, the people who couldn't actually afford that Mercedes-Benz or luxury SUV, whatever they got. And I mean, here's another clip right here, watching the car I bought with taxes get repoed because I couldn't afford it anymore. If you could barely afford the down payment in the first place and the only reason you were able to was because you got your yearly tax refund, when you signed the contract showing the monthly payments, you had to know that you weren't going to afford it in the end.
Dealership's fun, but sometimes it's not. We just had to repo this car from a customer.
They didn't make their first payment. Bank issued a buyback, so we had to buy this car back. We repoed it last night, but luckily we were able to recover it. And let me show you guys the car and tell you a little bit more about the story. So yeah, guys, it's been about 45 days since we sold this car. They missed their first payment, so we had to repo the car. The tires are pretty much shot right here. And if you come around, here's the damage. This car was sold 45 days ago. It was in super mint condition. And look at the condition of the vehicle right now. This is a mismatched wheel. I don't know what the other tire is. Hopefully it's in the trunk. But yeah, man.
So even though it was only $20,000, of course, it was still a Mercedes. I believe it's the A220, but basically the cheapest Mercedes you could get, and this person didn't even last 2 months. Missed the first payment and destroyed the car. We have another comment here. I'm a cop in a large city and we have dudes rent rims. We get calls where they'd walk out in the morning and their cars are on blocks because their rims got repoed. I mean, that sounds absolutely insane to me, but we have another one. One of the very high-class luxury vehicles getting repoed almost immediately.
Repossessions at the auction is insane. This is wild. This is a 2021 7 Series BMW, right? It's only got 26,000 miles. But look at the bank that repossessed it. American Credit Acceptance. That's like the low of the low 500 credit score. You don't pay nobody, but you make some income bank. You couldn't afford the car. Why'd you buy it? So I just pulled a Carfax. They bought this in February on the 24th day. Bruh, you ain't even had a car 2 months. That means you missed your first payment. Like, that's wild crazy. Stop trying to impress the internet. Nobody gives a shit what you drive. Buy what you can afford. Make it to work every day. Pick your kids up from soccer practice.
So there are certain companies that will basically accept anybody for a loan, but because of that, the interest rate and the whole term is going to be really rough, and doing it on a 7 Series BMW. It was a 2021, so honestly, the depreciation was probably pretty significant, but still wildly expensive because brand new, they are a 6-figure vehicle. Some of the comments, how in the world do you miss your first payment? American Credit Acceptance is terrible. Trying to impress my neighbor, I mean, all of that kind of stuff. And we have another comment from you guys. Vehicles are the kryptonite of financial freedom. Don't be caught in the web of auto hamster wheels. Only buy what you could pay for cash unless you have outrageous income, which most people do not have. But the previous clip really said it perfectly. Trying to flex for Instagram, the neighbors, your friends and family, because you see other random influencers or celebrities showing off their Range Rovers and G-Wagons in front of their big mansions. Which, if we're talking about influencers, a good amount of time that's just completely fake, but it seems like everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses, make it look like they have more wealth than they do, and unfortunately that turns into getting repossessed. And oh man, are there a ton of crazy clips online when that happens.
I'm gonna keep my car here right now.
You're not. It's gonna come with me.
Okay, well then I'm going with you.
You can't run
Oh
on the
well,
road.
yes I will. Oh God, I will.
Got it!
I'm gonna get out from here so he knows.
So yeah, if you want to look this up yourself, there are entire compilations, YouTube channels just showing the outrageous stuff that happens during these repos. But of course, this is the internet and social media, and there's a whole bunch of people that just don't take it seriously at all.
My car's getting repoed immediately. Bye. Bye. Car.
Y'all see, I got the Repo Man following me. Let's see how far he can chase me.
So real quick, by the reaction to her disabling comments, you probably understand the reaction of everybody watching that last clip, but we could go over to the first clip with the woman getting a C-Class repoed. Of course, another Mercedes. Say hello to a hard credit hit for the next 7 years. You're laughing like it's a flex, but they know that this type of video will gain some sort of attention online, so they'll still do it. We have another clip right here that I thought the comment section was very interesting, but car got repossessed again. It was just a couple second clip with some copyrighted audio. Everybody's everybody's going through it, just a test of our faith. Happened to me a few months ago. God told me to not get another one. He was going to bless me with one. 3 months later, got a phone call and gifted a paid for car, just like he said. I don't know how much I believe that. Does that mean she had a phone call with God and it just appeared in her driveway? What did you do for the last 90 days if you didn't have a vehicle before that? I mean, overall, you could be religious, you could believe in whatever you want, I don't really care. But this has come up a few times talking about different topics financially, people putting their money, their financial future in the faith of God. I still remember somebody saying that God told him to make the Jesus meme coin. Absolutely insane stories like that, but probably not the safest thing to do when we're talking about your financial future, but we'll move on.
He wants to get an approval. He says he doesn't have the best credit unless I told him we can help him out.
Okay, we got lenders that will help credit challenge that. Not a problem. Let's see what we've got, what we're working with here.
Biggest thing is he wants to get this all accomplished while putting no money down.
No money down?
No money.
Okay, well, let's see. Let me submit it. We wait here. All right. So he's a 495.
We can work with that.
So we might be able to work with that. Let's see what we got. Well, he does have a Exeter repo.
Okay.
He does also have a Santander repo.
Okay.
And a Capital One repo. And a AmeriCredit repo. So that's all the banks currently that we have. I've got a couple other ones. I think we can get him done. We might be able to find somebody that he can burn again. Okay. So can you put any money down whatsoever?
I'll see if I can get like $500, $750.
How about all of it?
So this is basically guaranteed to happen again. And of course, the dealership is going to try to get the deal done, possibly get some money out of him with the down payment before the car gets repoed once again, and the cycle will somehow just continue. I mean, we can look at some of the comments. Bro, 4 repos are actually insane. Get out of the dealership. Meanwhile, I have a 683 credit score and can't get out of my Explorer with no repos. Probably underwater, especially if you bought in the past couple years, anything over MSRP. Ally said he's approved 30% down, 36% interest, GPS monitored vehicle, $800 a month for 84 months. That'll probably be the deal, but I guess it doesn't matter if they're not going to pay at all anyway. After hearing all of that, I think he's fortunate to have a 495 credit score. Another comment from one of you guys, a friend of mine years ago leased a Trailblazer SS for $1,400 a month. It wasn't long before he had to hide it from the repo truck that kept looking for him at work. Once he realized it was over for him, he did donuts until he broke the transmission, realizing later after it sold for nothing at auction, he got sued for the rest. It's not like you just give up the vehicle and yeah, of course, take a credit hit for a long time, but you could still get sued for the damages in the end. But up next, we have another video that I don't particularly agree with, but it does bring up at least somewhat of a good point.
One of the main reasons why people get repos is not because they can't afford the payment, it's because they bought a high mileage car that was out of warranty, they declined the service contract so they have no warranty on it, and then something went wrong with the car. A lot of people that come to the dealership, when something goes wrong on the car and they got to pay out of pocket for it, they say, I'm not paying for the car anymore, so they just leave the car. That's why they have repos. It's not because they can't afford it, they just don't want to pay it. And this is why when I work with bad credit customers, I pretty much tell them to buy the warranty because they get approved on higher mileage cars. God forbid something was to happen, because things really do happen. If something happens, the warranty pays out. You're not paying out of pocket. I don't know about you guys, dishing out $4 or $5 grand for repair is crazy.
So overall, the goal for this video is that this car salesman is trying to sell people warranties, which I mean, real quick, we'll look at the comments. Warranties doesn't work. 2 times Toyota warranty made an excuse that it was wear and tear. Meanwhile, the car is still under warranty. I had to pay out of pocket and they played me twice. Not anymore. Most aftermarket warranties are not worth the paper they're written on. A lot of comments like that, but I don't think the majority of repos are because of very high repair costs, but I do think it brings up a good point for at least some of it, especially if we're talking about modern vehicles. Everything is so difficult to repair now, so many electronics, all the tech, that if one little thing breaks, you might have to replace a ton of different parts. So these repair bills become absolutely monstrous. Along with you barely keeping up with the monthly payments because of how expensive that's gotten, I think there is something to be said when it comes to people just letting these cars go, letting them get repoed because the prices are just way too much. Again, I don't think it's a majority of the repos that are happening right now. And again, he was just trying to sell warranties in this video, but could definitely be a problem down the line as well when these modern cars that are made very poorly start getting into the 5, 10, 15-year-old category and will need a lot more maintenance to keep running.
Calling a customer on her 2019 Honda Civic. She owes about $23,000. She wants to get out of it. So let's give her a call.
Hello?
I'm calling about your 2019 Honda Civic you want to get rid of.
Typically, it's either I'm trying to give it back upon internal repo because I can't afford it anymore. It's like 611 months plus my insurance is like 460 something.
You're trying to give it back, you said? You're cutting out again.
Yeah, I was thinking about giving it back, and then I saw you on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, let me see.
You meant like you wanted the bank to come and repo it.
Yeah.
How's your credit?
472.
472.
So this one's a little bit different of a situation, a voluntary repo, or at least a future voluntary repo with 472 credit, paying $1,000 a month, $600 a month for the car, and another $400 for insurance on a currently 6-year-old Honda Civic. I mean, we could go into the comments, what has she done that her insurance is $450 a month? With a 472 credit score, let them come and repo it. What else do you have to lose? I mean, I know we've been talking a lot about the luxury cars that are getting repoed because of the crazy high prices and a lot of people can't really afford them. But again, this is a plain economy car, a 6-year-old base Honda Civic that still ended up being $1,000 a month because her credit score was terrible and her insurance was really high as well. Something must have happened previously, but we can move on to another comment from you guys. I work in the auto industry. Repos cannot take the car if someone's in the vehicle. There was a lady that we tried to repo for more than a year. Every time she left her house, she had her teenage son sit in the car, so the repo people couldn't do anything. At home, she blocked the car in with other cars around it. She didn't make any payments for over a year. When she slipped up, they took the car and she was also arrested and is now facing several years in prison. Okay. Because I bet you've probably seen the repo content creators all over TikTok where they have like the GoPro 360 camera mounted on their tow truck so you can see everything that's happening. And they just show what they go through on their day-to-day lives, repoing people's cars, getting into a whole bunch of arguments, people chasing them down. I mean, it's crazy. Along with the repossessions booming right now, you'd probably think that this might be a pretty lucrative job for a while, but this kind of stuff can definitely be dangerous. I mean, the clip up on screen right now, man pulls out a bat after noticing his car is getting repossessed. So I mean, in this job market, it definitely would seem like a pretty steady stream of work right now, but it definitely comes with its negatives.
Did y'all see that repo man that got his head ran over trying to repo a car? He got under the car to hook it up for the repo, but someone had jumped in the driver's seat, put it in reverse, and floop right over his head. Now, in that person's defense, I don't think that they just knew that he was underneath the car. But either way, you done ran over this man's head. And you probably saying, well, repo man, why didn't you get up when someone got in the car and crank it up? But I think that he was under the impression that since he had the car blocked in, they didn't have nowhere to go. But a repo runner will always find a way.
So I'm not going to show it, but you could probably look up the clip if you really want to. And we've seen previously people get shot because of the repossessions. I mean, it's a lot more dangerous when you think when overall it's not the fault of the repo man you're losing your car. You clearly didn't make the payments. He's just doing his job, but can be collateral damage.
There's going to be a huge price correction on used cars, and let me show you guys why. The 2022 Dodge Charger Hellcat that was just repoed. This is a beautiful car. This car has 70,000 miles on it in only 2 years. Another really nice car is a 2022 Toyota Camry TRD Pro. These are really nice cars and they're pretty expensive, but it was just repoed. There's this 2023 G-Wagon G63. So you got damage there. Looks like they try to like break into this car or something. The tires are shot. The rear tire is flat, as you can see. And it's crazy to think that $100,000+ car was repoed. This is such a nice car, guys, but they did not take care of this car at all. Look at the inside, it's filthy, smells like weed, dirty. Sad, sad, sad. Here's a truck. This one's got wheel suspension, lifts, etc. It's got some rust right there. Yo, who knows what that is? This one's got 18,000 miles and it was repoed. And look at this one, guys. It's a 2024 Chevy 2500.
I mean, I cut the video off there, but it just keeps going on and on, showing all of these really nice vehicles at the repo lots. I mean, a G-Wagon, the MSRP is, I think, $160,000, but they're still like around $200,000 vehicles now. And I think a comment from one of you guys goes very well with specifically those vehicles. Social media accelerated this cycle. People always want to impress others around them by looking rich. But with social media, you add strangers into the mix too. It's even worse now that the algorithms will always find somebody richer than you to compare to. It's It's a lot easier than you think to look a lot richer than you are, especially if you're in the LA area where so many influencers, content creators live. You'll have 20 different people renting out a single mansion, and then all of them making individual videos, making it look like they own it. Same thing with all the vehicles. You could go to a supercar rental company, rent the Lamborghini and the G-Wagon and whatever for a weekend, make 50 different pieces of content along with all of your friends doing it at the same time, splitting the costs, and then those videos will go viral and all normal people end up seeing it and wanting to do the same thing. And that's how you get the lifted trucks and the G-Wagon and the 7 Series BMW earlier with the other Mercedes, all getting repoed at the end of the day.
We got a gateway past due.
1 month residence time, 6 months job time.
Okay. What kind of money?
Total of $400 between her down payment and her insurance.
Okay. What kind of income? What kind of income?
Terrible.
Is it terrible?
So minimum wage job. Half of her income that she put it on there is her home health aid personal client that pays her in just cash that she doesn't even deposit.
So she's a 480 credit score. We
got
got
about maybe $1,200 to $1,500 a month. She just called the job to see about getting a check stub sent over.
And she's got $400 to which she's got to get insurance out of and use all $139 left for a down payment. This doesn't sound overly promising. This doesn't sound like something I would like spend a lot of time with. I don't think this lady has any business buying a car right now. I don't think we want to be a part of the next repossession because it's coming. So we don't want to participate in the next repossession, ma'am.
So it seems like some people are just going to be stuck in their ways, still going to the dealership, even when these dealerships don't want to take part in it because they know how bad the situation is. That's crazy. But I wanted to end off this video on a different note. I know almost everything that we've seen today is people overreaching, purchasing vehicles they truly can't afford. But in today's world, with the job market and the high cost of living, there are still a good amount of people getting car repossessions because they're just really struggling to get by. It's not like they're trying to show off, be super fancy. They're just trying to survive, and it's become so hard to do so.
Well, TikTok, I lost everything. I was out of a job for 4 months, barely got a part-time job. That's not enough to pay for the car payment that I have coming up. I lost. I don't know how you guys all make money online. I don't know how you guys, I tried. Car's going to get repossessed. Where am I going to work? Where am I going to live? How am I going to get to work? I don't know. But, goddamn. That's it, TikTok. I give up. Life, you won. You beat me up.
So I definitely know that there are a lot of people struggling right now. But if you are somebody that's getting a little bit more income than maybe the national average or just what you've been getting previously, I would highly suggest just saving that money, not trying to show off and buy a new vehicle right now. Even with the car market starting to cool down and a lot of vehicles sitting on the lots, more deals are popping up and dealership sales, whatever they want to call it, because the economy is definitely still pretty shaky right now and none of us really know what's going to happen in the future. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and I'll talk to you guys later.